Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Okay, once again, a reminder, our title sponsor up until today, Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. We have so many submissions about trains, so try to get to a couple of them in Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. In the meantime, Canucks defeat the Senators. They kick off their 5-game road trip with a 6-4 victory. What are you laughing at over there? Okay. With a 6-4 victory over the Sens. Here to talk about it some more from Sekeres and Price, the Rink-Wide podcast. Jeff Paterson. Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Just a little bit of an identity crisis, but otherwise everything's going well.
We all know who you are, Jeff. Thank you so much. How could we not?
That was good.
Derek's having some fun with your key here, just so you know, Jeff.
All good. I think
what was in that muffin?
I'll do my best. I was going to say I'll get it back on the rails, but that'll lead us into train jokes again, and we won't do that.
Oh, don't do that. Any chance the Canucks have a goaltending controversy on their hands, Jeff?
I don't think so. I think they've got goaltending options, and that's never a bad thing. And Spencer Martin's story has been terrific. 10 games, and the guy's delivered a point. And this year, 3-0-1. And, I think it's funny. I was thinking last night, one of the stories last season was Jaro Halak. Poor Jaro Halak. They just couldn't score goals for this guy. And 8 the other night against Anaheim, 6 last night in Ottawa for Spencer Martin. And what it does is it allows Spencer Martin to have a margin for error. Has he been perfect? No. The Troy Terry goal against Anaheim in the second period, that was not a good goal, but he didn't have to be perfect that night. And even last night, the Travis Hamonic goal, I thought the Canucks, as poor as they were in the first period, were going to sneak out of the opening 20 in a 1-1 tie. And then Hamonic just rips a slap shot past Spencer Martin. That's not a goal that you want scored in the National Hockey League. But again, he didn't have to be perfect because this team right now, they've got their offensive faculties together. Certainly, the way Bo Horvat's scoring, the way Elias Paterson is playing, Kuzmenko, who wasn't great last night, but Mikheyev, that's why they're paying him the money they are to do what he did to Hamonic on his goal. So this is an option that they didn't have last year, was outscoring some of their issues. Yes, there are issues, and they've got to address those, but last year they were boring and bad. This year so far through 13 games, they're bad, but they're fun, they're entertaining, and they're certainly giving us lots to talk about.
Jeff, this heater that Bo Horvat's on, we haven't seen something like this in a while. I mean, now 12 goals in 13 games. Only Connor McDavid's got more at 14. Couple of questions. Can he keep it up? I mean, how does this affect the contract? He's in his UFA year. A lot to think about when it comes to Bo Horvat in Vancouver these days.
Yeah, and it's incredible. Like, for some guys, the weight of the whole contract thing would crush them. And he's using it as fuel, clearly. And goal scorers get paid in this league. We know that. And so to see him with a dozen goals through 13 games, he had 5 at this time last year. So he's more than doubled his output in the early going. And it's just been incredible to watch in a bunch of different ways. I was thinking about the goal that he scored against Pittsburgh, where he came roaring down the wing and looked like he was going to pass and then snap. Early in his career, people knocked his skating. He worked on his skating. I kind of get the feeling that this guy has worked on his hands and his shooting. The Pittsburgh goal that I referenced, that was big-time stuff. But, deflection goals, rebound goals, go into the traffic areas. Last night, when things are going your way, Rick, that first goal, Ethan Bear just throws it on net. It hits Horvat. Cam Talbot turns, thinks that it's over in the corner, and instead for Horvat, it just bounces down to his feet, and he's able to bang in a rebound. So, you need some bounces. And even if you think about Bo Horvat, and he's got a dozen goals, he could have considerably more. He's had so many chances. And I think that's what it's not just the goals that he's scoring. It's he's putting himself in position. The puck seems to follow guys around when they get on these kinds of roles. And what is it going to do for his contract? I was always of the belief that there was no way that Bo Horvat, prior to this season, a career-best 61-point guy, could get anything that would remotely come close to starting with an 8. And now I think all bets are off because goal scorers get paid. And whether it's in Vancouver or whether it's elsewhere, is he a perfect player? No. He's not a puck distributor. He's not a playmaker. He doesn't set up the guys around him. But when the puck's on his stick, it's fine in the back of the net. And that is a valuable skill and commodity to have right now. So it's been an incredible start, and every night out, like I can't wait to see. I almost feel like penciling him in for 2 tonight and see if he outdoes himself. Maybe he gets a hat trick. Maybe he comes out of Montreal tonight with the solo lead ahead of the idol Connor McDavid tonight. Who knows?
Well, and Saturday is going to be a special day for Bo. His family's there, his agents there, the whole 9 yards. You tweeted out that Rathbone one shift in his last 10 minutes. I just want to ask you about the young kids because they've been up and down. Podkolzin, Hoglander, Rathbone. It's not an easy league. Ups and downs for everyone. Adversity. When you look at these 3 kids, what do you want to see, Jeff? Either from the team or the kids to get their ice time up.
Yeah, I want to see more of Rathbone. And where I've seen him, he does what you expect. His skating is one of his best skills, and they don't have enough of those puck transporting guys. Underlying numbers haven't been kind to him, but the underlying numbers haven't been kind to a lot of guys. He gets an assist last night, but I guess I wasn't surprised in a tight game that had some special teams both ways down the stretch that, they went down to a 5-man defensive rotation, and unfortunately for Jack Rathbone, he didn't see the ice an awful lot over the final 10 minutes. So, it's promising that he got an opportunity. I'm curious to see what Bruce Boudreau does coming back with back-to-backs tonight, and he's got his options, and I feel for a guy like Kyle Burrows, but I think it was the right move. Riley Stillman just hasn't shown me enough, quite frankly. Yeah. And if that was management leaning on the coaching staff to play a guy that they traded for, it reaches a point where the player's performance has to dictate whether he stays in the lineup. So I think they made the right call there, and we'll see what they do going up against the Habs and then the back-to-backs on the weekend. That'll be an even greater test. Toronto, we know the offensive weapons they've got, and then the Bruins just going off these days. So Sunday will be a tough one there. Up front, Vasily Podkolzin comes out of the press box, didn't help his cause, took a couple of penalties, including the delay of game penalty late. So, is that a case of a guy trying too hard? Maybe, but when you get those opportunities, you got to make some things happen. And it has been a rough start for Podkolzin. And so, I think he and Hoglander they're seeing firsthand that this club went out in the offseason. They brought in Kuzmenko. They brought in Mikheyev. It was going to be tougher to find spots on the wings higher in the lineup. And neither one of those guys has done enough to put their best foot forward. So I thought Hoglander was okay on Saturday against Nashville, had the assist, had a couple of shots, had a nice defensive play on Philip Forsberg, and all that got him was a spot up in the press box again and out of the lineup. So, I think when they get in there, me, and do something, like if it's 6 minutes, if it's 8 minutes, contribute to the cause. But for Vasily Podkolzin, there has to be a bottom line. This is a top 10 pick. There's so much more to his game. We saw that in the final 20 games last year, and it does look like he's running scared, and he certainly can't be hurting the team by taking penalties, because we know the biggest Achilles heel on this hockey club right now is its penalty kill. So you can't be putting yourself in the box and putting the team on the penalty kill.
Very quickly, Jeff, I know you're at BC Place on Sunday. Your impressions of the Western semifinal, Lions over Calgary?
I tweeted this out, Donnie. I just want more playoffs. All sports, all teams in this marketplace. It was incredible. It was to see 30,000 strong, united, with a singular goal of cheering on this team that has just done everything right this year. And you just wonder how much better it would have been if Nathan Rourke had been healthy all season long. But it was incredible that he got back in there, did some Nathan Rourke things. And I just loved the energy and the atmosphere. And it made me realize, between the Whitecaps and the Canucks and really the last bunch of years for the BC Lions, it has just been so dark in this market. And that's, with all due respect to the Giants and the Canadians, that's at a different level, and the capacity limits on their facilities. But to see 30,000, and I was reminded again on a crappy, rainy, November Vancouver day, BC Place is an incredible facility. It really is. And so fun all around. I really enjoyed it. They're going to be tough in Winnipeg, but I think at the outset of the season, if you had said for the BC Lions to sort of revitalize the fan base, to have a home playoff game, to win a home playoff game, and to see the emergence of a star that the city could buy into, they have checked off just about every box possible, I think, this year.
Couldn't agree more. Jeff, thanks for this. We'll talk to you later. We'll make sure the nameplate, the key, is correct next time around.
I'm gonna go check my ID just to make sure.
Okay, you do that.
License.
Thanks, Jeff. Next week, Jeff Paterson, Sakaris and Price, and the Rink Wide podcast.